So thanks everyone for joining. We are here and very grateful hosts from W3FF. So we are organizing the Trust and Pay Hackathon, and we are very, very happy and excited that we are supported by Mural. And today we have a masterclass, which will be run by Ryan Wade from Mural. And we will have insights about how to use Mural. And we will also talk about the opportunity that all of our participants will get a free license for Mural for half a year. So we are really excited to use that. So maybe I just want to share personally. So I'm interacting with Mural. So I'm collaborating with Mural already since 2018. So it's quite a long time. And we did a lot of community work. I also work as a Mural consultant, did a lot of muralizing workshops or processes. During COVID, there was really a peak. And so I always say I live in Mural because I'm a very visual thinker. And for me, Mural, this online whiteboard helps me in all kinds of different situations. And therefore, it was obvious to use Mural as a tool for us for the hackathon because um, we support a hybrid collaboration. So we will have people in Riyadh during the hackathon, but we will also help and support for online collaboration. And therefore, Mural is a fantastic tool. So we can visualize all the ideas, all the information. Plus, we can also have quick alignments with these hybrid teams. So this is how we learn the basics about Mural today. I will also, Ryan will guide us through some interactive exercises. Then I will present the Mural board that we will use, and I will just give you a quick overview how that will work. And then we are also open for Q&A. And I already want to announce for tomorrow. So we have Carolyn here as well from Mural, and she will Mural and Luma. So we also have the support of Luma Institute, which is part of Mural. And this is a design thinking system. And we are using the framework, which is super effective if you want to collaborate and align quickly, so make quick decisions, which is also very important for our hackathon. So we try to use these tools and frameworks to be more effective with the hackathon. With that said, I would like to hand it over to Ryan and welcome everyone, Mahmoud and Faisal as well. So we already started, but I want to welcome you. So I just make a short introduction and want to, hand over the mic to Ryan.
Thank you, Sabrina, for the lovely introduction. And yeah, great to meet those of you who have joined. Also, hello to everybody who's watching this recording, which I believe is going to be shared out with a wider group. In today's session, I'll be very happy to take you through some of the essentials of Mural. Also, I'd like to talk a little bit about why it's so important and the impact that visual collaboration can have on teams. And then once we've got through the basics and got you all up to speed and feeling nice and comfortable in the Mural board itself. We'll kind of go up one little level to facilitation superpowers and show you what you can do as a more advanced user inside Mural. That is more in terms of how you can guide collaboration sessions. And then to finish off, we'll wrap everything up, bring everything together, and show you a bit of inspiration in terms of the kind of activities that you can actually do inside Mural as well. Okay, so hopefully that sounds good. And on that note, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. At the same time, I will drop a link into the chat. You can see the link to my board right there. Hopefully, that link will bring you straight into my board, and you can come in as what we call a visitor. So while you jump into my board, I would love it if those of you attending live could jump into my board and we can actually get hands-on with this. I will also share my screen. Fingers crossed that's loading up for you now. And as a quick
Looks good.
reminder, yeah, you can see me. Good stuff.
Yes.
All right. Um, we are running two sessions, of course. But today is the first session. Today's first session is all about accessing and navigating in Mural, getting creative, and how we can take you through everything from the essential features and also the facilitation superpowers, as I just said. And then we also have a session coming up tomorrow, which will be an introduction to Luma methods. So how can we take today's base knowledge and then apply that to some Luma methods, which are some excellent ways of working, which my colleague Caroline and Sabrina will be very happy to take you through tomorrow. Right, that's enough of me talking. We're going to start off with all of the essentials, and maybe before I get into that, I should also say that I have spent 4 years at Mural, and my job is very much helping people to get the most out of the platform. And one thing that we are strong believers of is that teams work better when their work is visual. So that's everything we're trying to do today is get across how your work lives can be improved by working visually. Whether you're in a situation where you're working in a room with people, whether you're working hybrid, maybe some of you in an office, some of you working remotely, or if you're in a fully asynchronous scenario where you're working on a board at some point and then your colleagues work on a board at a different point, maybe in that given week, Mural is your place to do all of that. And we have a bunch of templates that are going to help you to reach your objectives as well. So let's get started. We have 10,
Maybe,
10 key
maybe if I
points.
can
Yep.
quickly interrupt you, Ryan, I just want to make sure that everyone can follow us because I don't see everyone yet on the board. So maybe just let me know, Mahmoud, Faisal, Ahmed, Lamar, are you able to join the board? You just need to click on it and enter as a visitor. You don't have to create a profile. You don't have to add your name. Just click on join as a visitor. Just let me know if this is possible for you or if you are facing any problems. Okay.
Yes, I'm already there.
Awesome.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you,
you. Thank
Mahmoud.
you. Okay,
Welcome.
so please,
Alrighty.
over to you, Ryan.
Okay, so as we get hands on then, I want to get started with just some simple navigation pointers. At the bottom right of your screen, you will see something called the minimap. You see that we have down here, we have this little button that says minimap. If you're seeing my screen share right now, that's actually me hovering over that. That's a good little place for you to stay oriented in the board at any given moment. If you're doing workshops, team collaboration activities, brainstorming, roadmaps, whatever you're doing in Mural, this minimap is quite helpful in terms of locating yourself and also finding other people in the board. To the left of that minimap button, there is something that says navigation settings. Quite an important one to highlight as you can switch between what we call trackpad mode and mouse mode. And of course, I'm using a mouse today, so it's very logical that I would use mouse mode. But if I was just using my laptop, I may want to consider putting this into trackpad mode to get that lovely pinch to zoom experience that you would expect to have inside Mural. Okay? And my final note on navigation before we get in is, of course, what does Mural actually feel like when you start picking up for the first time? Sometimes people come into Mural and expect it to be something like PowerPoint or they expect it to be like Word. And it's not exactly like that, right? We have a slightly different experience. And whenever I'm speaking to people who are using Mural for the first time, I always describe it as being much more like a Google Maps type experience. And when I say Google Maps, that's because we kind of zoom in and we zoom out to be able to see content in the Mural boards. Okay. Something that I see beginners doing in Mural sometimes is adding a sticky note and they think, well, I have a sticky note here and it's so small, so I can't see it. So I'm actually going to just make that really, really big. And that's not the idea of Mural, right? The idea of Mural is to be this dynamic canvas where we can easily zoom in and zoom out to see content. And maybe that's a good point to give you my first little tip and trick for Mural is that the X button on the keyboard is actually a magnifier. So you see all of these sticky notes here, they're kind of difficult for me to read right now. But if I just hover over any of these elements in the board and press the X button on my keyboard, I can actually magnify these elements without having to zoom in and see every single one. Okay, so that's my first little tip for you in terms of navigation. Just hover over any content and press the X key to be able to magnify and see what's there. On that note, I would love to start off by asking you, what are your weekend plans? We're at Wednesday, we're not too far off the weekend, so I'd love to ask what your weekend plans are. Let's grab Let's grab any of these sticky notes that align with your weekend plans and pop them on the radar on the right-hand side here. If you don't like any of these activities, that's also totally fine. There are some other sticky notes at the bottom here. You can double click into any of these and type in whatever activity you're looking forward to and put it into the priority radar on the right-hand side. Let's give you a few seconds just to give you a chance to do that. Let's maybe have a look at what I can do. I normally am exploring new restaurants, so I'm going to put that down here on for me. I can see a few of you are already adding things into the board. Got some yoga going on, some stargazing, very nice. Must be one of the Irish crew with the nice clear skies. Cleaning the house, yes, that's also on the agenda, unfortunately. Already. So you can see how easy it is to start grabbing sticky notes and moving them around. You may notice that there are a few things you can do whenever you select a sticky note as well. Whenever you select a sticky note in Mural, you get these formatting options available to you. I can do things like make the text bigger and smaller. I can start going into sketch mode. I can change colors of the sticky notes, and I can even add tags as well. Maybe we can practice adding a tag a bit later on as well. Okay. Whenever you've got sticky notes in the board, you can click on them and choose this button called Switch Type. If you're seeing my screen share right now, you can see that I'm just hovering over this button. And if I decide actually this is not the exact shape of a sticky note I wanted, I maybe can change it to a rectangular one. That's totally fine. I can do that as well. Okay, right. Step one done. We've already seen how we can navigate in Mural, change our navigation settings, and start moving content around. What about adding sticky notes to the board from scratch? Well, there's two ways to do this. Nice and simple. Using the toolbar on the left-hand side, you see this little option that says sticky notes. If you click on sticky notes, you can click and drag from that panel into the board. I can see you are flying. You're already doing that in this section here, so great to see. And the other option you can do is simply double clicking on a blank spot in the canvas. So if I double click near an existing sticky note in the board, like that, you can see that Mural will replicate that same format. Okay, so I double click near this one, and it gave me exactly the same format. And if I double click into this one that Lamar just added, thank you Lamar for adding that sticky note, I can also see that I was able to quickly copy that format of that existing sticky note. Okay, alrighty. Now is probably a good moment to also practice adding a tag to our sticky notes. You'll see here, if I just go through it and grab my Ryan sticky note, I actually have this option to apply a tag by hovering over this button here that says tags in the menu, and I can click on tags, and at the moment there's nothing appearing because I haven't actually created any tags. But imagine I want to create it and I want to call it important. I could just hit enter at this stage. But when you're in the process of creating tags, one thing you can do is actually start to change the color, and you can also change the icon as well. So if I wanted to, let's say I have been in a meeting with Sabrina, and Sabrina's had a fantastic idea, which she's put down into a sticky note. What I may want to do is say, well, I want to tag this up. And when I tag this sticky note, I'm going to say, let's make sure that Caroline follows up on this. So I'm going to create a Caroline tag. But before I hit enter, I'm going to maybe just give it a little icon. I could go in and change the color if I wanted to. Oops, I clicked off it. That's not ideal. Let's see. Caroline, let's try again. There we go. Create. And now we have this sticky note with my Caroline tag on it, just like this. Okay. Um, One thing to point out with the sticky notes and the tags is this works really nicely with something called our Find panel. If I hit Control F or Command F if you're using Mac, you open up this Find panel on the right-hand side. And if you're thinking, okay, I've got a really busy board, but I know that somewhere there was a sticky note and it had the Caroline tag on it, what I could do is just filter to match those and then click on this cycle through button to next item, and I'm quickly taken to that particular item. Okay, so the tags work really, really nicely with the Find panel. Okay, we are flying through. Let's go through to adding emoji reactions. Nice and simple. You can see the sticky notes without even selecting the sticky notes. You can just hover over a sticky note and actually add an emoji reaction to any existing sticky. This is a great little tool to have in your pocket as a facilitator, because what you can do is actually encourage non-verbal reactions within your group by simply requesting an emoji reaction. So if I wanted to quickly vote on sticky notes, I could say, please emoji react to the sticky note that you think is most important. Okay, but I can see here there's a few of you that are already getting very hands-on and also trying to add different emoji reactions to each of these. So you can see what
Ryan,
you do. Just yeah, yeah,
may
sure.
I add something to that, because you just gave me a real nice prompt with this.
Hmm.
You can ask for a reaction. For example, if you are in a creative in a creator mode within your team, and you add different ideas how you move forward, then you can ask, because you will probably work in location but also online. You can just ask, okay, add some ideas here on this part of the board, and then add also, everyone after that can add a reaction. And then you just give them a time. Okay, let's do that by within this hour. So after 1 hour, please add your reaction, and then you can see, okay, where are the most, let's say, who likes most specific ideas or steps that you can move forward. So this is how to get a quick reaction. Just wanted to add that. Thank you, Ryan.
Great, great call out. Absolutely. And while we're talking about non-verbal reactions, we can go a bit further. We can start adding things as well. You see down here on the left-hand side again, we use the same toolbar. You can go to icons and you can start searching for whatever icon you want to add. So let me know what your favorite hobby is. My favorite thing at the moment, or it has been for a fair few years, is playing or watching football. So I'm going to throw in a football icon there. And I also wanted to point out, when you do have a few icons or indeed a few sticky notes in your board as well, I'm just going to add a few things that I also love, or maybe some music in there as well. Let's see if I can throw in some travel. I'm also a big fan of traveling. Maybe this one here. There we go. All right, we've got some biking, some meditating, I think, as well in there. One thing that you can do if you have multiple elements in your board is do a very simple group select. And if I basically hold down Shift, and if these items are unlocked, of course, that's very important, I can group select all of these items. It's a little bit hard to see because of the blue background, but you can see there are some faint squares around these showing me that I have selected them. When you've selected a group of items, whether it's icons or sticky notes, you can see that you have these buttons called Arrange and Align. And this is super useful. I would say, particularly when you're using sticky notes, you can choose Arrange, and then you can say, well, I want to put them into a row, into a column, into a grid, or by type. The one that I use all the time is by type. Because if I'm doing an exercise where I'm maybe using red, yellow, and green stickies, I can very simply organize hundreds or thousands of sticky notes if they're into their color just by doing a group selection and then organizing by type. In this case, it's a bit difficult because we only have icons, but I could say, well, let's arrange them into a grid, and you can see that I've arranged those icons into a grid nice and easily. Awesome. As this board is becoming slightly more visual now, we can take it up a level. And we can add images into the board as well. And this image panel literally just got an update, I think, in the last few days. So you're getting the hot off the press. You're getting the latest experience. You just click on the images button on the left-hand side, and you can maybe let me see a picture of where you're from. So if those of you that are in Riyadh, I'd love to see a photo of Riyadh. You can just type in, for example, Riyadh in this search. I can maybe show you a little bit of Barcelona. I can add in a GIF, or I can throw in a photo. I'm going to throw in this photo from above because I think it's pretty fascinating how Barcelona looks from above. Let's see if that's working for me. There we go. You can see the design of the Eixample neighborhood of Barcelona. Really, really amazing design from above. It's one of those things you're walking past it, you don't know it's like that until you see it from above. And I can see that a few of you are dropping photos in there as well. Feel free to drop your favorite photo of your location there. Good to see. And one thing to highlight, maybe while we talk about accessible meetings, is that you can also add in. I think you may have seen it when you first added the image to the board. There was the opportunity to add a caption. And if I've hidden the caption, I can actually right click on the image and go to edit caption. And I could say, Barcelona image from above. This is good for if you're working with people with screen readers, for example. I can then hide this caption by right clicking on it and choosing, sorry, no, by clicking on hide caption here. There we go. Awesome. Good to see some lovely photos coming into the board. Alrighty. I should just point out as well, when we're looking at images, we can also start to alter our search, right? So you can see here, all I did was type in Barcelona in that first search bar. What I could do is flick between GIFs or images, and I can even say, well, I want something transparent. So I could search for Barcelona PNG, for example. And by searching for Barcelona PNG, oh, it looks like it's not worked. Let me see. Let's see if this might be part of the update. The one I used to use all the time as an example was Shrek. Looks like PNG search doesn't work anymore there. It's interesting. Might be a little bug that I'm experiencing because you can normally experience you get the transparent images, but let's check on that after this meeting. Alrighty, number six, connecting the dots. We have a lovely trophy that I want you all to win right now, so I'm just going to summon you over here, and then I'm going to go ahead and release you. You can click on the drawing button in your toolbar on the left-hand side to enter draw mode. So feel free to
Uh,
open that up. Or,
Sorry,
yeah,
Ryan.
sorry.
I hope it's okay when I if I
Of course.
interrupt you in between because I just regarding the icons and also the images, I would like to share that this is also a very easy way to create a quick mood board if you want to align on how do you want to do your pitch deck or when you want to, you know, your idea, how do you want to visualize it? You can quickly just use some images and icons and very fast align with each other. Okay, this is how we want to move forward. Just wanted to highlight how important and how usable this is. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and in turn, you've just prompted me to mention something else there, which is that when you are using these icons, by the way, one great reason to be using the icons, which it also works with sticky notes to be fair, but I particularly like it with the icons. If you right click on any of these elements, you can click on show info and I can see who added it and who last modified that particular element. Okay, so if for example I've done a quick vote is pineapple a good topping on pizza, for example. Maybe if Caroline had put her heart near here, I would know that Caroline was kind of voting for yes, and I could just right click and say, well, who was that? And I can see who added it and who last modified it. So just a good little tip to throw in there as well. Um, when it comes to drawing, I don't use the drawing tool tons, but maybe you are more artistically gifted than I am. So feel free to just click on the draw button on the left-hand side here, or you can use another keyboard shortcut just by hitting the D button for draw. You can see when I hit the D button, my screen changes somewhat, and I get these different buttons that appear at the top. And I can go in and I can change the line width and I can also change the color of this. So if I want to be a bit more obnoxious, I can sort of draw all over your drawing so far. But you can see it's nice and easy for me to go ahead and start drawing in this board like that. Okay. Um, I can see that you guys are drawing here as well, so I'll leave you to finish off this lovely drawing exercise. Good. There is one other way that we could do this, which would be to use connectors. I often use connectors, and if you're wondering where you can actually find connectors, it's within this option that says shapes and connectors on the left-hand side here. I use shapes and connectors frequently for building things like flowcharts. So I will often build flowcharts by adding in a bunch of shapes. So if I just, for example, dropped in a couple of shapes like this, and I'm going to make them more like rectangular. Maybe one thing I would want to do is actually go ahead and connect them. And I wouldn't use the drawing tool for that. I would use the connectors. And there's two ways I can do that. One would be to just click on shapes and connectors and go to connectors at the top here on my screen share. If you're seeing my screen share, I can click on these connectors. I can click on that and then go from one to the other. And voila, we have connected these two shapes. The other possibility is to use another shortcut, which is C. So if it was D for draw and C for connector, and if I hold down C, you might see that my cursor changes into like a little crosshairs. So if I hold down C and then click from one to the other one, I'm basically drawing connectors on my board. And in theory, I could click and use, I can use connectors here to go from one shape to the other one like this if I wanted to use those connectors instead of drawing. Okay. Alrighty, we're making good progress. We're nearly at the end of the basics. And I mentioned at the start how we can change the color of objects. I'd love to do a little group activity here to see how quickly we can change the color of these sticky notes below. Remember that you can also multi-select. So if I wanted to multi-select these sticky notes to match the frog above, I'm going to go ahead and start doing this now as well to be part of this activity. You can see here, I can go ahead and start doing things like this. I can multi-select them, so I'm going to ignore these. These should be white. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. It was more to get you get you up and running with the concept of how to change the sticky notes. But if we want to change these to match the drawing above, we can do that. You can see that somebody was, yeah, there we go. We're bulk changing these. We want to put these as black. There we go. We've done this in the past with logos, by the way. It's quite a fun activity. You can kind of add in logos, and sometimes what people do is they'll add an image of a logo and they actually break up the image into different cropped pieces, and then the team exercises to kind of work together to put it back together. Works quite nicely.
Like a puzzle.
Exactly. Yeah. Alrighty, let's move on. I think we can take a. I can see that you've mastered that already. We don't need to finish the entire thing. If we move into segment 8, we can see that we can actually change text sizes here. So there's a few instructions on these text boxes saying, please make me a bit smaller, make me a bit larger. Feel free just to play around. You can see that when I click on any of these text boxes, I get these options to make text smaller and bigger accordingly, like this. So I can make the text a bit bigger if needed, or I can make the text smaller just by using these options available to me there. Hopefully that's nice and clear. Worth calling out, one thing that you can do with text boxes and indeed sticky notes, a very, very popular feature, is the ability to hyperlink. So whenever you're throwing in a link into your board, you can just click on the element and then choose create link, and you can just paste your link into your board like that. So it's a nice way of referencing maybe websites or other locations, maybe document locations, for example, to quickly reference those documents. Very common to use that with sticky notes. Okay, give you a few seconds. I can see that you're all playing around with that. Lovely. And then, nice and simple, I also wanted to show you that it's really easy to actually delete content as well. So whenever you've got content here, you can just go ahead, select a single box to delete it, or you can go ahead. I often use, if I want to multi-delete options, I will just click on a few things by holding Shift. And you can see here that I can multi-select options and just hit delete like this, and I'm able to remove those unwanted items. Okay. Lovely. We have basically accomplished the basics, which is great. So I hope you've in just well, what is it? Roughly 20, so well, nearly 30 minutes. We've gone through the basics. I want to take in this last portion of the basics element. I want to just take a moment to show you a few other things, and this is kind of a little bit of a preview as to what we're going to go into right now. Whenever you created your mural board, you might want to be working in that board alone, but there's going to likely going to be a time when you want to bring somebody else into your mural board. And if that is the case, all you have to do is click on the share button at the top right hand side here, and then you're going to get a couple of options available to you. My first option, which I use really frequently, and it's one that I use today, I just clicked copy link. And you can see that I'm able to copy the link and I paste it into the chat, and you're all able to join my mural board in this case as visitors. But the other option would be to either start typing email names, so I could start typing in Owen's email and share this invite via email, and very nice secure way. And it's also good because people will always have that email they can go back into to find the link. Or if you want to add a bunch of people, you can also do that by uploading a CSV file as well. Okay. But I think for the majority of cases, you'll probably be just using the email or the copy link function here. And there's a bunch of access options you can affect and adjust according to your needs on screen right now. Couple of other things which I wanted to highlight as well is around following and summoning. And I've used this a couple of times in today's session already. One thing you're going to be thinking of as a facilitator is how you can keep people's eyes on the right thing at the right time. So for the benefit of the recording today, I actually do have my screen being shared, but there may be a time when you just have people in the mural board and you're not sharing your screen. If you ever feel lost at any moment in a mural board, you can click on the face or the icon of anybody inside your mural board. So if I want to follow where Mahmoud is at any given stage, or Lamar indeed, I can click on Lamar and see where they are at any given moment in the board, or I can go in and see where Caroline is as well. Okay. If I want to kind of do the opposite of that and actually have people following me, I want to prompt them to follow me. That's one of the facilitation features I have available, and I'm going to jump into that right now. Everything we've seen so far is what I would call a basic collaboration feature. Things like adjusting sticky notes, adding emoji reactions, icons, images, all of that stuff is kind of a basic collaboration feature. What I'm about to go into is actually what we call facilitation superpowers, and only specific people can go ahead and use these features. Before I go into that, I'm going to pause though and ask if anyone has any questions on what we've seen so far. Okay. Good to see Caroline having fun. Alrighty. Hazel says it's very clear. Okay, awesome. So, with that said and done, let's move into the facilitation superpowers. You might be thinking, who is a facilitator? And how do I become a facilitator? Whenever you create a board in Mural, by default, you're going to have this star next to your photo. You see, if on my screen share right now, I do have this star next to my photo. That basically tells me I'm a facilitator. In fact, I can then go into this menu and actually explore all these facilitation features that I have available to me. Okay, but you may notice that I'm not the only facilitator here. I actually have Sabrina and Caroline who both have stars next to their name, and that's because I've gone in and gone to the user button here and I've actually assigned them as facilitator rights. So if I wanted to do that with Owen as well, for example, if I think Owen deserves the responsibility of facilitator, I can get, ooh, for some reason I can't do that. Let me see why. Don't know why that's coming up. Anyway, this is where I went. You should be able to do that normally. Might be to do with the way that Owen's accessing this board, but you can see that I have the ability to actually click on can facilitate, and that's what's given Sabrina those facilitator rights. So I have access to all the facilitation features, so does Caroline, and so does Sabrina, because I've given those rights out to other people. Okay, lovely. There are some more exciting facilitator features, but there's one really important one which often gets overlooked, and I want to make sure this is super clear for you moving forwards because it's something that can undo a lot of our great work, and that's locking. I've heard many workshops where somebody has spent 2 hours building a very beautiful board and they're ready to get started in their workshop or maybe a hackathon or whatever session they're doing, and they invite everybody in without actually locking their content down. And what happens is everybody comes in with lots of enthusiasm and they start moving things around, and all of that facilitator's work is kind of undone. Okay, that's not a situation we want you to be in. So whenever you're preparing your mural boards, and if you're about to invite lots of other people into your boards, it's always worth locking down content that you don't want to be interactive. Okay, so you can see even in today's board, by the way, many of these items, when I click on them, have a little padlock next to them. And that tells me that I can't click on these items and move them around. And nor can you because I've locked them down. Okay, that makes me feel reassured that I've locked down all those elements that I don't want to move. And you'll see that the only ones that I left open were these things that I want to be interactive. So sticky notes, for example, is a good example of that. I left them all open because I want them to be interactive and dynamic. What I normally do as a facilitator is actually select everything and lock everything down. So I will normally hit Control A to actually to select everything in my board, and I will typically go to the lock menu and I will go to facilitator lock and lock everything. Okay, if I do that, everything in my board is locked, and then what do? I go through each individual element and I think, well, okay, maybe I want to unlock these specific things, and I will basically select the things that I want to unlock and select them manually like that. I just find that's the easiest way for me to do that. But if you wanted to do it the other way around, that's totally fine. You could just go through manually locking things if you wanted to. A quick note on the lock. I know it's not particularly exciting. It's exciting, but it is important. The lock type also matters. one thing to point out is that if you use facilitator lock, only facilitators can unlock that content, which is quite an effective one to use. So I would recommend that you normally try and use the facilitator lock. You won't be seeing these options right now because you're coming in as visitors, but when you do create your own mural boards, you will have these abilities, and you'll be able to go in and lock content like that. Okay. If I was using the standard lock, anybody in my mural board, in theory, could unlock that content. All right. So hopefully that's clear in terms of who is a facilitator, how we can actually share those facilitation rights, and now we can talk about what do we actually use these facilitation features for. Um, I've broken these down into three broad categories, which are driving focus, creating psychological safety, and also reaching consensus within a group. Okay. So to drive focus as a facilitator, of course, and when I use the word facilitator, we often think about really large scale sessions. It's not always the case, right? Even our smaller sessions should adopt a facilitator mentality. And we want to drive good collaboration sessions, and the facilitation features help us to achieve that. If you want to drive focus in a particular session, of course, we can use this button called summon. This is really handy because we can all be exploring my board at any given moment, but there might be moments in your session when you think, okay, these guys have had enough fun. It's time to come and follow me wherever I am in my given board at that specific moment. So if I wanted to bring you all from my board into this one particular place where I am right now, I can hover over my photo and click summon. And you can see it says 6 people, 7 people are following you. I've now summoned you all to where I am, so you can see where I am at that particular moment. So a great little tool to be able to bring people to the same place at the same time. And if you want to go one step further, you can click on this button that says take control. Now that I've clicked take control, nobody can escape this summon. In fact, you can't even select items. Okay, so I'm fully in control now of what's going on. And as I move, your screen is probably going to be moving as well. Okay. Important note, if you have taken control of a group and then you want them to go off and start an exercise, don't forget you do have to release them. Otherwise, they're going to be sitting around like lemons, not going to be able to do too much. So I'm going to go ahead and click release, and then your group can actually go ahead and get started. Okay. So hopefully that's clear how summon works. I also want to just point out one thing because this little context menu here is pretty powerful and I use it quite a lot. Um, can I ask you just to wiggle your cursors for me? Where in this area of the board now, if you could all just wiggle your cursors, and bear in mind there's only a few of us. That's it, perfect. Thank you, Serena Mahmood. Keep going there. There's only a few of us in this board right now, but we can see that the cursors are kind of a bit distracting, aren't they? If we had 100 people in this board, they would certainly be distracting. So one little tool that you have in your pocket as a facilitator is to hover over your photo and click on this button that says hide non-facilitated cursors for everyone. And if I do that, suddenly all of the confusion should go away. Let's see. There we oh, we're definitely having some bugs today. Let me refresh and see what's going on. Let's try again.
I think it's because we are facilitators. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Good call. Thank you. Yeah, yours was still showing up. Thank you. Yeah, that's right. So it was working as planned. Now, yeah, nobody else's cursor is actually visible. So that's working as expected now. Thank you, Sabrina. So I can basically remove that level of confusion as needed. Um, Timer, also super important. It's probably one of the most basic features we have, but I think it's super effective. If you want to drive focus and give people a sense of progress in a session, I use it all the time. So whenever you're planning your sessions, time box your activities by clicking on timer. Yeah, most of the facilitation features, by the way, live up here under this button that says facilitate at the top right of my screen. If I go to timer and say, yeah, I want 3 minutes, start timer, that's going to be visible to everyone. Gives this lovely sense of urgency in part of an exercise and makes people really focus on the activity at hand as well. Okay, I want to finish up with two more, which is psychological safety and reaching consensus. Um, Psychological safety, we have this thing called private mode, which basically is great for when you want to get anonymous feedback or you want to remove the concept of groupthink. Groupthink is basically where you're influenced by what you're seeing being added by people around you. So if I wanted to ask a super simple question like, what's one thing you're hoping for in the upcoming hackathon? Before I actually ask that question, I may want to activate this private mode, and it gives me the chance to either reveal authors or to hide authors. So in this case, I'm going to say I want to keep authors anonymous. Everybody gets a pop-up that says, hey, you've started private mode. Nobody can see what others are doing. So in theory now, if you double click into any of these sticky notes where I am right now, there we go. We can see that the sticky notes are going gray. I can't see who's adding content and I can't see what's being added. Okay. So as a facilitator, I might want to give you a few seconds. And as I'm giving you a few seconds, I'm then going to say, importantly, going to give you a chance to finish up. I'm going to say, okay, guys, I'm now going to end private mode. I'm going to give you 10 seconds. Sorry to stress you out if I'm rushing you all. But important to give you that chance to click away from that sticky note because of course, if I end private mode and you're still editing that sticky note, it's going to show up who's editing that. So I'm going to say, okay, right about now, I'm going to end private mode. We're going to reveal content. And now, do you remember earlier when I had the icons and I right-clicked on them, and it showed me who added them? In this case, it says last modified in private mode. It doesn't tell me who edited that particular sticky note. Okay, so a great way of getting honest feedback or just protecting people's identity during any of your sessions. Okay, so that's there as a tool for you to use. And finally, of course, we have voting in Mural. There's a few different ways, of course. You can be really informal with voting. You can use emoji reactions. You can have icons placed near stickies to do dot voting. Um, but we do have this formal voting feature, and I'm going to show you how we set that up. So I have very common use cases for Mural: strategy, planning, research, creating, prioritizing, etc., etc. I'm going to ask which are your most relevant. What are your top three favorite ones? But for me to do that, I'm going to click on facilitate. I'm going to go to voting and then start voting session. In this case, I'm going to say, well, I want you to vote on sticky notes and I don't want the vote to be on the entire canvas. I'm just going to make sure you have 3 votes. I want it to be on a selected section. I click next and I then select the sticky notes that I want you to vote on. Just these 9 here. I hit start, and you're going to get a pop-up that says Ryan has started a voting session. You can click on a card to vote and then hold shift and click again to remove that vote. Okay. Voting is anonymous. So now you all have 3 votes. I set up that you have 3 votes. Tell me your top 3 most relevant use cases for Mural, or what do you think, which are the 3 most relevant for visual collaboration? You just have to click on 3 stickies, or if you want to place all 3 votes on one, that's fair enough. I love using Mural for presenting, so I'm going to put that as one. I love Mural for planning, and I also love Mural for prioritizing. There we go. I have no votes left. When the time comes to end the voting session, all you have to do is click end voting session, and then we get all of the votes appearing on screen like this. Okay. That voting session remains there. So if you want to bring up those votes again, you click on facilitate, go to voting and choose show results page. And there we go. These are kind of backed up. So if you do many, many voting sessions, they will just appear across the screen like that. Alrighty, I've done a lot of talking. I want to finish up by simply saying that you've had a great start today in getting hands-on with Mural. You know the basics, and you also know what facilitation features are all about. You've got to grips with the main ones. And if you're thinking, well, how do I actually take Mural and put it to practice? What do people use Mural for? I've put some useful templates down here that I think will be useful for you. Things like strategizing, brainstorming, prioritization, etc. It's all available to you inside the templates button. Just hit templates and start searching or start exploring the use case element. And I've put a few down here as well, so you can see how Mural is great for connecting. We use Mural for icebreakers, things as simple as what book are you reading right now? We use Mural for brainstorming, so we can plan things like holidays even, or we do planning around projects. Mural for prioritizing, like we did with the weekend activity at the start of this session. And Mural for reflecting. So if I wanted to ask your opinion on what went well, what went poorly, etc., etc., we can all work together in this particular board as well. So all these templates are there for you to go ahead and use. Alrighty, I've talked a lot. I'm going to hand over to Sabrina, who's going to end up with today's session. I do have a feedback zone, by the way. If you wanted to leave some feedback either on today's session or on your overall feeling around the hackathon, I would love to see that at the end of the session. But for now, I will hand over to Sabrina to finish up.
Thank you so much. First of all, a deep breath in, breath out. That was really a run through. all the best of Mural. So thank you so much. It was fantastic listening. So I hope maybe you can just give us a quick thumb up, a virtual thumb up here in the Zoom. And I want to share a bit of confetti here on the Mural board for you, Ryan. That was really nice. So yeah, very insightful. I only want to add what I've prepared for the hackathon. And this is where I have a little exercise and I just want to show you the board. So nothing spectacular or nothing where you need to work anymore. So let me share my board with you. Give me a sec. Okay, this should just make that a bit bigger. Okay, I want to share with you how we are thinking to get prepared. So this is the board. So what we will provide is the hackathon platform. So you already heard from Ryan that it's super easy to add a URL on the board. So most of the time you see a preview like you see it here. So this is already a preview. And I only show you the board right now, and then I will share also the link. So you can also enter this board and we do a very quick exercise. But first of all, so we will provide more links so that when you are on the board and you are looking, oh, where do I need to go to my idea, to the registration, to whatever, because we have this platform where you registered and where we have all the ideas and where also the judging will take place, etc., etc. So if you want to go there, you just double click on this item and we will share more links. So this is like a repository of links. We also add all the challenges here. I don't want to go into that, but here are the challenges, the submitted ideas so far. So we will just add them. And we want to add also all the participants. So we want you to add your profile here. So and I made an example already from myself. And I've added also a Loom link. So you can double click on this link here. And then you see me explaining how you can do that, how you upload your photo, how you edit your name, etc. So this is for you. And we also want, so we want you to edit here. You are already registered, I know, but it would be nice to have also your photo. You can add your link to LinkedIn. So this here you can also then see the mentors and the judges. So I used the example of Dorothy. She will be one of the judges and also give you insights, pitch masterclass next week. So I just wanted to have that as an example. There will be more, and we will also have all the teams here. And if you are team one, so we will also add then the idea of team one. This is not yet, this didn't happen yet. We will add, so there are teams forming regarding the ideas, and then we will add the idea to the team. There will be the names, and when you then click team one, then you come to this new section. Then we want all the participants here, and this will be your place. So you can add all kind of research information, links. You can align on, okay, we want the idea for the next steps. We want to have X, Y, Z, and then you are adding that. We will have tomorrow a session together with Caroline about how you can quickly align, just the method, how you use, we will use Mural for that, but it's more about a methodology, how to align teams quickly. And we will do that, and you can use then your team. So I just zoom out. So this is how I prepared the board. So team one, just show you, team one is here. So this is the board of team one. Here is team two. So yes, you can see the board of each other. We will see, I would like to have it like that. We could also do different boards, but then you have different boards. So I want to use this way, and I don't think that there will be any complications, but prove me wrong. So this is how we facilitate it. So it's an endless board. So the Mural boards are endless. And therefore, there will be all the boards on this. So you will have only one link to access the board all the time. I just need to be able to zoom out, zoom in. Now I want to share with you the link to the board. Copy. And I want to add it into the chat. Okay, so please join me here on the board, and I want to make one exercise with you, which is here. I want you to add a star from where you are, and let me just showcase that. So you already can zoom in and zoom out. So I take a star and I put it to, let's see how my geographic knowledge is. I add it here. Okay, this is Vietnam, here somewhere. Okay, so please add a star. You can also leave it big, so you don't need to, but you already know, fantastic. So congratulations. You already know how to make the elements bigger and smaller. It's fantastic. Congratulations. So just add the stars to where you are from or where you are right now. And this is all for now. So you can take it, let's say, as a homework to add your profile here to the participants or mentor, whatever your role is. So let me see, I cannot, let me just see, is everyone added stars? Ooh, I see a star. Okay. Fantastic. So we have, this is Barcelona, this is Germany. Fantastic. Where's Ireland? Ah, oh, you made it smaller, Caroline. Let me make it a bit bigger, then we can see it better.
That's my one.
Ah, okay, wonderful. Yeah, that's it for now. I would like to, we have 4 minutes left, open up the space. I stop sharing. Let me see, are there any questions? Are there any questions? You can also add the questions to the chat or just open your mic, speak up. Maybe anything to add from your side, Tanya, regarding the process for the hackathon, anything that you would add as more as useful or just...
No, maybe let me make an experience sharing. So, Sabrina, before we met us, I don't use Mural when I've been honestly, and you can imagine Sabrina used that constantly, and in the meantime, I asked Sabrina, where's the link to this project? Where's the link to this project? And it's very helpful when you have a board and then we have the project in the different generations there. In the beginning, it was confusing. And now it helps for me that I have such kind of desk and I can add all my thoughts, the stages about the project development, and I can have a few back months later, and that's very helpful. I can do that in the Google Workspace. I can do that in Notion. So it's only in Mural that I have the space to put notes, screens, or whatever in one place, and it's okay when it's not in a super nice structure. It's only a place to add everything. And that was experience that I had. That's very helpful to store something for the current work, but also that you can say, okay, you don't have to delete it. You can have a look a couple of months later, and sometimes it's super helpful. So yeah, that's my experience. That's my sharing. So in the beginning, it was confusing and not clear how I used it. But in the meantime, I learned how helpful that is. And also, Sabrina, we are not on the same room, mostly not on the same place. And so it's super easy for us to work with this board. And we don't forget anything. So everything it's there. That's super helpful. It's only experience sharing that comes in my mind, what I want to share.
Thank you so much. I think that's also super helpful. And since we record that, we want to share that also with everyone. And maybe also to add one thing, because we are, as a venture builder, we are working on startup projects. And that very often also involves processes and to showcase, how a product works. So also in the hackathon, you can easily just map out some wireframes, some processes. So it's very easy. This visualize, and this is what Mural, what Ryan, you also shared in the beginning. So it's about visual collaboration. You see that, and then you understand. And since we are in the hackathon also from different cultures, different language, nationalities, also a visual language is something that is unifying. So even if you are using English, and maybe because we are all most of us are non-native English speakers, the visual language helps us to get aligned. Yeah, and maybe as a last word, I would, so thank you for all of you for participating.
Before you close out, there's a question in the chat from Lamar about when forming the teams and integrating Mural into the process.
Forming the teams is already happening right now on in our HackTribe platform. There are the ideas, and the ideas are they have team members. So you can apply to a team where you find the idea interesting. You can also add your own idea and share that. But when we are on the ground in Riyadh, February 5, next week, Thursday, we will finalize the team. So there might be already teams formed in advance, but there is still, this will be the final point where we need to form the teams in order to get the work started. And the Mural will be integrated next week. So it will be introduced. So we do tomorrow another session with Luma, so about framework, but we will then introduce it next week and get everyone on board. But there will be also people who will only join on February 5. I hope that helps, Lamar.
And let me add one point. HackTribe is not an active platform. So you can see everything and you can fill your idea there. You can see the other participants, the challenge, and so on and so on. But you can work with them directly. It's only a platform that you can share information for one-to-ones or get information, but a tool for collaboration and make some notes or whatever. Here it's Mural, the better place. Yeah. So, and that's for the team. So, that the participants, it's HackTribe, the better one, but to work with them and create and see what your thoughts, it's better Mural to work together.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. And so thank you for participating. Thank you, Ryan, for guiding us through the features and facilitation features of Mural. And I also want to give the word to Owen as a last word, because he's organizing the access for all of you and the license for all of you to Mural for the next 6 months. Maybe you want to share that quickly.
Yeah. Thank you, Sabrina, and thanks, Ryan, as well for presenting and demoing Mural. So on the Mural membership front, everybody should have received an invitation email from myself. So if you follow the link in that, you will be brought to the Trust and Pay Hackathon workspace that we've created. And that will be active until the 31st of July, where you can use Mural, you can create mural boards, and if you have any questions, my details are on the Hackathon Hack Tribe site as well. So feel free to reach out if you have any questions.
Thank you so much. And with that, I would like to close the session, and thanks all of you, and see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.